Why fast food is panicking over higher prices now? When he says panicking, does he mean like people are panicking that, I mean, there's no such thing as the dollar menu anymore at McDonald's. I used to have to live off that shit. Anybody who knows me knows I enjoy a good McChicken, hot and spicy McChicken. So I want to see what he has to say.
There's been a lot of talk online and in the news about how much fast food prices have gone up over the recent years.
They've gone up exponentially. Do you guys remember when McDonald's used to be like 99 cents for like any size drink? Or the double cheeseburger was literally $1, or the McChicken was literally $1. Dude, they're like triple now. It's like $3 for a double cheeseburger or $3 for McChicken. It's insane now.
Once home to the dollar menu, prices at the Golden Arches leaving a bad taste in the mouth of consumers who just want value.
Some restaurants are continuing with price.
Okay, to be fair, if you go to McDonald's, you shouldn't be expecting value. Okay? I'm just saying.
Price hikes, while others are getting desperate with attempts to offer more deals in hopes of increasing traffic.
Restaurants don't cut prices for fun. Did consumers essentially force your hand by being fed up?
Customers are telling us that they're really stretched.
Now, we all know inflation has been rampant since the beginning of 2020 when the pandemic happened.
Grocery prices, in some cases, are falling. Fast food prices are rising, and these CEOs, they know it. They're hearing these complaints.
But what's really
Why do you have... Did you guys see that?
And these CEOs, they know it. They're hearing these complaints.
What is this? Why does everybody have McDonald's breakfast? Or is it sponsored by McDonald's? You guys had to have these McDonald's breakfast sandwiches on display.
But what's really going on?
Marketing placement.
I mean, are fast food companies trying to pull a fast one on us, price gouging under the cover of inflation?
Fast food places in general, y'all better watch your goddamn ass.
Is this just plain old corporate greed like many have claimed?
Who told y'all was that good to be charging that much for y'all food?
Or is there more to this story?
Fast food used to mean inexpensive.
Going viral, the Big Mac meal priced at $18 at a Connecticut restaurant.
Holy shit. Wait, did fast food mean cheaper, guys? I don't remember fast food meaning like cheaper prices. Actually, I mean, you're right. I mean, we literally were just talking about the dollar menu. You could get a lot for a couple of dollars. You're right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. $18 for a Big Mac.
Well, in this video, I'm going to try to get to the bottom of it. Wikipedia defines price gouging as a pejorative term used to refer to the practice of increasing the prices of goods, services, or commodities to a level much higher than is considered reasonable or fair by some. This commonly applies to the price increases of basic necessities after natural disasters. Usually, this event occurs after a demand or supply shock, like, say, a global pandemic.
Yikes.
Harvard Business School says there's no rule for what qualifies as price gouging, but it's not an uncommon occurrence. For example, EpiPen costs and Uber price surges are both examples of price increases that have been considered unfair. But what's the difference between price gouging and inflation? While price gouging is often the result of a business decision, inflation is a general increase in the prices of goods and services over time.
Holy shit, guys. Why can't we go back to $1 coffee? Literally $1.25 coffee, 10 years, dude. I mean, I get like a coffee for $2 at my gas station, but still. Shit, dude. I miss that.
And is directly impacted by the market. And while 40 states across the country have laws in place to ban price gouging, there is currently no federal price gouging prohibition. And this makes it a difficult thing to enforce because so many supply chains are nationwide. And as a result, states face heightened challenges when trying to protect consumers from price gouging. So in my opinion, price gouging is a rather nebulous concept. It often lacks clear-cut depictions, and it's not only a practical question, but also a moral one. However, with this fast food dilemma, it's not just about high prices here. It's also about prices that seem disconnected from costs and the actual products themselves. So whether specific fast food companies have engaged in price gouging is up for debate. What certainly isn't is how much prices have increased over the years.
So I don't know how many of you guys like have eaten McDonald's recently, but like the quality, at least my McDonald's, like the two McDonald's that I'm near, granted I'm like 25 minutes from any McDonald's, but the quality has gone down like drastically. And I know it's McDonald's, okay, but like McDonald's used to be good. Even like with the dollar menu when I was like a kid, it was still really good. But like now, man, it seems like every burger I've ever gotten since like for the past couple of years has been just shit. Like the only exciting thing about McDonald's now is the chance that your fries are fresh. Just the chance that your fries are fresh.
And the real question then becomes, is it justified? Finance Buzz released a staggering report on fast food prices over the last decade, and it showed some very interesting stats, claiming McDonald's is king when it comes to price hikes over the years, citing a 100% increase to their prices from 2014 to 2024. Now, to understand how we got here, let's just rewind for a second. Fast food in its early days was built on two core promises: speed and affordability. Now, with its initial success, it really started to become a symbol of American culture. What the food may have lacked in quality, it ultimately made up with cheaper prices and the convenience of getting it quickly. However, today, the same can't be said. It's not breaking news, but fast food is rarely fast anymore. And it's becoming pretty expensive for what the quality is.
Yeah, you're better off
over the last 2 decades, rising costs have hit the industry hard. Real estate prices, minimum wage increases, and supply chain inefficiencies started driving up costs. Add to that the increase in costs of beef, chicken, potatoes, along with paper products, and suddenly the simple cheap burger wasn't so cheap to make anymore. These changes laid the groundwork for the price hikes that we're seeing today, but they only tell part of the story. What's happening now feels different, like something has fundamentally shifted.
Oh, I'm sorry, could you put her on, please?
Dude, this is a Wendy's restaurant.
Kevin, okay.
Damn it, Kevin.
But I have to keep it real. It's not just the rise in costs that are part of doing business. It's also factors like increasing...
Preto, did you come in here, Preto? Come here, Preto. You want to be on webcam, Preto? Great. You want to be on webcam? Come here, Preto. Great. I don't think she wants to. You want to be on webcam? Nope. Travis Scott reportedly earned, well, that doesn't surprise me.
Advertising spend, ballooning executive compensation packages, along with significant investments into technology, like mobile apps for these companies. Oh, and of course, stock buybacks, returning billions of dollars to shareholders. But don't just take my word for it. Let's look at some of the numbers. According to the Federal Reserve's economic data, food away from home, which is the category that includes fast food, this rose roughly 28.5% over the last 5 years. But general overall inflation rose only 24%. Now, at a first glance, these price hikes might seem like a logical reaction to the rising costs of inflation. But let's dig a bit deeper. While the cost of doing business has increased, profit margins at many major chains have held steady or even grown. Take McDonald's, for instance. Despite facing higher expenses, their operating margins climbed to nearly 46% in 2023, up from around 41% in 2019. Now, that's not just covering costs, that's thriving. And if you don't think operating margin is the best indicator to decide this, let's look at their net profit margin. It's gone up from 28% right before the pandemic hit, all the way up to over 33% in 2024.
Shit.
Now, this has led McDonald's to begin to take some drastic measures to try to convince customers they not only aren't being greedy, but also that they still can provide value with their menu.
No.
But more on that in a moment. This pattern isn't unique to McDonald's.
Their food sucks ass, dude. No. It sucks ass. Honestly, man, the only reason I would want McDonald's now is the craving, which is just the fault of me, and the fact that I want, like, the chance to get fresh fries. That's it. Everything else is just shit. The amount of times I feel shitty after eating a fucking, like, sausage McMuffin, or eating a fucking, like, even, like, just a daily double, dude. I feel, like, sick every time I eat it now. It sucks.
Though, Chipotle has reported record revenues fueled by menu price increases of nearly 15% over the last 2 years. In fact, during the making of this video, they just announced another 2% price increase to their menu. which brings
Good thing
the
I don't eat
total
at
number of
Chipotle.
price hikes to 7 times since 2021. And Chipotle technically isn't fast food and is more in the category of fast casual dining, but they still are a part of that food away from home stat that I provided from the Federal Reserve. And so we can still learn a lot about their recent financial performance over the years. Chipotle's net margin is higher now than ever before and has been steadily climbing since the pandemic. However, the margins did tank before the pandemic due to foodborne illness issues the company was facing.
That.
But if we also look at their revenue and net income, that has also been rising steadily since the last quarter of 2020. And here's the kicker. Chipotle's former CEO, Brian Niccol, earned over $17 million in 2022 and over $22 million in 2023, including significant bonuses tied to the company's profitability. This is over 1,300 times the median pay of a Chipotle worker. Now, whether you think the CEO is worth 1,300 times the average worker or not, it's clear that they are making more money now than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
And Chipotle also just announced in July that they were authorizing a $400 million stock buyback program, essentially funneling excess cash back to shareholders instead of, reinvesting it into operations or finding out ways to keep prices stable. Additionally,
more
Yum
money
Brands,
for
which
us.
owns Taco Bell, KFC, and Pizza Hut, instituted price hikes in 2023 and cited that it was a last resort option, while later that year clocking in a 21% increase in total revenue over its pre-pandemic earnings. Now, since then, executives at the company have authorized a $2 billion share repurchase program, returning $678 million to its shareholders. Now, there's no secret here that greater amounts of capital are being redirected to corporate level costs, such as C-level executive compensation. Now, critics argue that inflation has become a convenient excuse for these price hikes.
Yeah.
Yes, labor and ingredient costs are up, but why are executive salaries soaring at the same time? Why are companies increasing ad budgets and launching multi-million-dollar stock buybacks while citing higher costs as the reason for passing price increases onto consumers?
So they want
now, in
more
some
money.
cases, the numbers suggest these companies are taking advantage of inflationary pressures to pad their profits. In fact, a recent analysis from the Economic Policy Institute found that corporate profits accounted for over 40% of price increases across several industries during the pandemic recovery period. Now, while fast food isn't singled out in this analysis,
AFC fries are fucking gross. They're gross. They're awful. Anybody who likes these things are wrong. You're wrong. They're awful. They're undersalted. They're soggy. They're never crispy. They're awful. You should feel ashamed for liking them. They're not good. I don't care if they're good for you guys. They're not. No, they're not good. They are not good. They're just as bad as the Taco Bell nacho fries. That's right, I said it. Nasty ass Taco Bell fucking nacho
it does seem to
fries.
fit into this broader trend.
Gross, dude.
This narrative has led to a huge disconnect from corporations to their consumers, particularly around their pricing and the value propositions they offer. But the interesting thing here is some of these companies are faring much better than others. Chipotle, for example, is continuing to grow in spite of their price hikes, and they also historically haven't offered any sort of value meal.
It's because what they're doing is they're raising their prices and they're trying to figure out exactly how much money they can squeeze out of those pockets of ours before we've all just decided we literally can't afford it anymore. It's not possible for us to pay for it anymore. And then they're going to cut back a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then they're going to rake in all that money. All that money is getting raked in. And all our pockets are crying, wondering where we're going wrong by spending all our money on Chipotle and McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell.
While restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, and others are all trying to entice customers.
It is a luxury. For me and my family, it's a luxury. If we're not having a spaghetti night, if we're not having a taco night, if we're not having a rice, like stir-fry night, and we decided, hey, I got extra money that I can blow, like, we're just tired from work, Well, I'll get McDonald's for them. We'll get Taco Bell. We'll eat out. We'll get Subway. But it feels terrible every time you buy it because it hurts the wallet, dude. It's not cheap to buy it anymore. It honestly feels like luxury. It's crazy. It's definitely a completely different feeling than a couple years ago.
Trying to add more value deals to their menus. But of course, fast food chains have their side of the story too. They argued that these price hikes are a necessity, not some evil choice. And their executives have pointed to some real pressures: rising wages, volatile supply chains, and of course inflation, as reasons why fast food just isn't as cheap as it used to be. Now, back in May of 2024, social media posts about an $18 Big Mac meal went so viral.
$18.99 quarter pounder deluxe. Who's buying that? Who can justify that? That's literally the cost of like an 18-inch pizza. Holy shit.
Social media posts about an $18 Big Mac meal went so viral that McDonald's actually had to begin a campaign trying to debunk some of the myths that were being spread about their prices. Remember this graph from earlier? Yeah, well, McDonald's disagrees with a lot of it. The nuance behind this is that while data on its own is rather objective, the way in which data can be presented often is very subjective, including this video here. However, in their blog post, McDonald's cited bits of information from the article labeling them as myths, like, quote, McDonald's raised prices at a rate nearly double the national rate of inflation.
That's true, because McDouble used to be 99 cents. A McDouble now is $3.
And over in their facts section, trying to combat this, they mentioned that over the last 5 years, prices have increased around 40% due to higher input costs such as salaries, food, and paper products. And while that may be very well true, the article cites McDonald's menu prices have doubled 100% since 2014 across popular items, the highest of any chain we analyzed.
Yep.
But okay, let's just assume McDonald's was confused on this, and they cited from 2019 on as opposed to what the article says, which is 2014. So what about another myth? Well, once again, McDonald's cites the article quoting, McDonald's medium fries have increased by 138% since 2019. But McDonald's claims the truth is the average price of a medium fry in 2019 was $2.29, and now in 2024, the average price is $3.29. Okay, well, the article actually says that the 138% increase is from 2014 to 2024, not 2019. Now, I could go on, but I think you're starting to get the point.
McDonald's
but there are some who argue that
misleading.
rising wages are really the one to blame for high menu prices,
Said no,
claiming
I
this
doubt it.
trend of increased minimum wage could lead to job losses and widespread restaurant closures. However, the evidence suggests otherwise. Economists at the Economic Policy Institute.
Now, I might not understand it, but if everybody's making more money, right? If you're making more money, minimum wage, you're going to have more money to decide, hey, I want to go to McDonald's and spend money on McDonald's. Or, hey, I have extra money because I'm getting paid more. I'm going to go to Burger King and get some food. The more money that's being pumped into people's wallets, the more they're going to be like, well, I have extra money. I don't really want to cook. I might as well get like a McDonald's meal. I could be wrong in my thinking. Maybe I'm missing some factors, but I feel like if you have more money to spend, you're going to spend more money. That just makes sense to me.
Have extensively researched this issue and found that higher wages would likely have the opposite effect, modestly stimulating consumer demand, boosting business activity, and creating job growth. Okay, but what about fast food prices? Are they rising because of higher wages? Well, yes, but not entirely for the reasons you might think. Price increases in the fast food industry are part of a long-standing trend, not a sudden phenomenon caused by wage hikes. Because while the consumer price index for all items rose by 3.2% between April 2022 and April 2023, fast food prices surged 5.2%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Meanwhile, the cost of groceries increased by only 1% during that time. But that was then, and this is now, and fast food has been getting desperate over the last year. McDonald's has had to really try to entice customers with their nationwide $5 value meal.
And it's not... So we get these $5 meal deals occasionally, and they're not worth it, dude. They're not. Because the quality of the food has gone down a lot. And... I don't know, man. It's not worth it, dude. It's still a luxury. It's still.
And many
a luxury.
competitors have followed suit. Burger King offered their $5 meal, Wendy's did a $4 meal deal, and Taco Bell launched a $3 value deal, all in an attempt to increase traffic to their stores. Now it's clear they have a real problem on their hands, not only in terms of general sentiment around their value propositions, but also in regards to pricing. But fast food companies also have to reckon with fast casual offerings eating away at their market share. Chipotle, Cava, and Sweetgreen have all reported a much different outlook on this matter. And while yes, they typically attract a higher income cohort, it's not only them that are buying these products. Cava, the Mediterranean chain, only raised prices 12% from 2019 to 2023. And as a result, they reported increases to their top and bottom lines. Now, of course, they have a much smaller footprint than McDonald's, but when that Big Mac is contesting the prices of some of these fast casual offerings, it seems like an inevitable shift is bound to occur here.
Yeah. A Big Mac meal, if a Big Mac meal is going to cost me $13, $14 at a McDonald's, I'm most likely not going to get that Big Mac because there's a Casey's a couple blocks away from my house that I can buy a whole pizza for the price of a Big Mac meal. I can get way more out of my money for that. Why would I buy a double quarter pounder meal or a Big Mac meal for the same price that I could get a giant ass pizza with sausage or pepperoni on it? It's not.
And even casual sit-down restaurants like Applebee's and Chili's are getting involved into this value war. Chili's 3 for Me meal deal for $10.99 has created a resurgence in traffic to their restaurants, resulting in their foot traffic soaring 33%, which capped off 6 straight months of increases. So are the higher prices just the costs of doing business?
No.
I don't see how one could come to that conclusion with how much profits have increased over the last 5 years for most of these chains. To me, this does seem like some good old-fashioned corporate greed, masked in layers of manipulation and excuses. And now for fast food places like McDonald's, Burger King, and others, customers not only have to battle with higher prices, but also with the lack of convenience and quality of the food itself. Because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, infinite growth is the goal. And the fiduciary duty to shareholders comes before customers, employees, suppliers, or vendors. But it is really interesting to see how some companies simply choose to operate differently while still achieving success. If you want to learn about a prime example, I covered the story of Costco and the interesting approach they've taken to capitalism. You can learn about it here. Thanks so much for watching.
Alright guys, make sure you go give him a watch. That was an amazing video. I'll go ahead and link it right now. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, I linked it in the description as well. Go ahead and make sure you watch this guy. Give him a sub, give him a like. That was very awesome of this guy. Very cool.